Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another evening here at the Watchers Brawls, presented to you by Star Esports. We are having a beautiful match tonight, Phase 1 versus Citizens. I am Man of Class, and I have the pleasure, the honor, the privilege of casting this match together with Shy Guy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. The honor is all mine because I am here with you, and I am here with two absolutely incredible teams. The last two teams in our tournament who remain undefeated at this point, who have not dropped a match. Everyone else is either out or finds themselves in the losers bracket right now. So this is kind of the cream rising to the top, and we're gonna see who can punch their ticket into the grand finals here and now.
Yeah, because let's be clear, this is not just the upper bracket final, that it's also immediately the semifinals of the entire tournament. So, like you said, winner gets into that grand final, definitely gets a shot at our, our modest but still acceptable prize pool. And yeah, Citizens Phase 1, great team. Citizens, the only team so far to have actually put up a fight against our team of Revolution, the American Revolution so far. Even though they had to drop out eventually, that has still been a great game, or at least a great team. They edged it out. The only 6-map series we've ever seen in this tournament. That was a great one. And yeah, Redacted, they were taken down by them as well. So Phase 1 showing up strong here as well. I think they have they dropped a map? I don't think they have ever even dropped a map yet. So yes, they haven't really been challenged as much, but that doesn't say everything. Let's just see where these teams go tonight.
Yeah, and if there's a team remaining in this tournament that I think really has the goods to go toe to toe with Phase 1, I think it is gonna be Citizens. The champs from last season's Watchers Brawl are back to defend their title. In Phase 1 is standing in their way right now. It's going to be a significant hurdle to overcome because this is an incredibly talented team playing a style that really catches a lot of teams off guard on the other side. They use a lot of Orisa and triple DPS strategies, and that can be very difficult to deal with. But Citizens, they have the flexibility, and I think they might have the goods to at least give them a run for their money.
Yeah, and obviously we're looking towards something like these different compositions coming out that are going to be a lot more helpful when you get into these pick and ban systems that we still have for the heroes. So it's very much possible that both the maps and the hero pick and bans are going to be very impactful on a match like this. That being said, we know Citizens. We know they don't go down easy, so this could still go the other way. But I'm very excited to get into this. So I think that should be our goal, to just get into the match and show you guys what these teams have done. But I kind of wanna touch up a little bit on I wouldn't say the meta shift, because that's not really what's happening. But why is it that these teams are playing DPS all of a sudden? Is that anything to do with just what they prefer, or?
I think it's a little bit of both, and teams finally at some level getting tired enough of goats that they're willing to try other things out and to push the boundaries, and they're finding that it works. That's the thing. Teams are always willing to kind of try things in scrims, but now they are finding that the meta has shifted just enough that these different looks are starting to be viable. Especially if you can unleash some really high skill players on these DPS heroes, you have an opportunity to kind of set yourself apart.
Yeah, and let's be a little bit honest here. With all these rumors and these almost confirmations of the 222 lock coming into the game in the near future, it's very understandable that even in Overwatch League, the changes in compositions that we've seen might not even be due to a proper meta shift because of balance, but just could have to do with the teams expecting it to come in and already preparing for that new rule set to come through. And even in this level of play, because this is very close to being professional level already, like so close to contenders, that these teams might be doing a similar thing. They're expecting the game to shift in a certain direction, so they could use that to their advantage. And if you run that 2-2-2 setup, that could be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, some teams are going in that direction. Some teams are even swinging the pendulum a little bit farther, like we see Phase One doing here, running the triple DPS. This is kind of their trademark style with Dr. Foreskin on the Orisa. So they are going even one step further. They don't need 3 tanks. They don't need 2. They just have 1 with that Orisa, laying in damage from long range. So much spam coming through this choke point.
Yeah, choosing to swap out a tank for DPS is something we see more often, especially with D.Va being not as strong as she used to be with the new Matrix nerf. But we just see the spam coming out, the dynamite from Ashe, and then the grenades from Junkrat. It's all just so much. You call it spam damage, but it's really just this pressuring barrage of projectiles, which, you can call it spam. I don't like the word, but you can see it coming out already. And they are doing a really good job on side of Citizens to just walk around it. They're going to finally drop onto the point, taking the space that they want to do with this 3-3 composition. Actually, 3-2-1. They're running the Mei here. But yeah, right now it's still a little bit of a jostle for position. They're trying to get in here, and they're finally going to get some damage down. They're really trying to get in here, but it's still the defenders getting more damage done onto the attackers here. So it's going to be Phase 1 taking down Salieri to begin with that early bob from Romanov already. And that should probably be enough to lay in the rest of the damage, and it's looking like it is going to be just that. Support's both going down, frosted out of the mech, and hammered down. Razor getting 2 hammer kills in that fight. That's not something you see a lot.
Yeah, Citizens play that very slowly, very patiently, but all the while, that ult charge is just building and building and building for Phase 1. And it ultimately spells the demise for Citizens there. The Bob is too much to handle for them, and they eventually get whittled down.
And the Bob's going to be up in the next fight already. Romanov already on 90% is going to just have it again. They have the Tire. They have a Valkyrie. That should be enough to already close this one down. The Tire gets split off by the wall. They will be able to get in the end. Like, it will have some time. Will drop down from the top and gets Camboyo straight away. So that Lucio gone. No more mobility. No. They still have a lot of healing, but the mobility is going to be really important if they want to cross this bridge. They could still get in, but the Lucio is just going to get spawn kicked by the Orisa, it looks like. Dr. Foreskin already ready to catch him on the retreat.
He is waiting, and that's the plan here for Phase 1. They just want to keep these 2 halves of Phase 1 separate. But Camboyo looks like he's going to go up through the high ground. He's playing it safe right now while his team takes up position on the point.
Bob's already there doing the work he needs to. He's getting split up a little bit by that wall, so won't be able to do all the damage. But Rack Attack still goes down. That is most their healing gone. If Camboyo cannot get that sound barrier up in time, this fight will probably be over already. It looks like they're going so low, but Camboyo is able to heal them up. There's a sound barrier, and that is going to be a very good tool for Citizens, but it's not going to be enough for Encro. Encro going down. This self-destruct combo doesn't get anything because of the shield and the defense matrix, the immortality field there. So Romanov finishes off the last 2 kills, and that's going to be another hold here. And it's only really been these 2 attacks, these proper attempts, because they just cannot get through this wall of damage.
And even still, they used so many ultimates to try to break through there for coming out for the side of Citizens. It's really just going to be the Blizzard and the Earthshatter as they try to make a last stand here. Can they at least get a couple of pickoffs with these ultimates? I wouldn't even mind a solo shatter. But
such a nice kill to Camboyo. I mean, he straight away gets that spam kill, and it's not even, you just throw the nades into a room and you'll hit something eventually. Now the Tire comes out, so he'll probably get something more, it looks like. No, Vulcan actually gets taken out, so they do get that kill. He gets the counter kill and Rack Attack though, so no more supports here for Citizens, and they only have 7 seconds. They will probably be able to get onto the objective, and they might even be able to take out Dr. Foreskin with that Blizzard and the Shatter combination, but for now they're just freezing Bob. And Bob is a cool guy, so they just getting that stereotype up. But they're finally having control of the point. There's no one defending it right now, so they are getting a little bit of progress. But are they going to be able to get 1 or maybe even more ticks? Dr. Foreskin gets rezzed. That's a good tool to have, extra shielding. And they threw the Molten Core down on the ground on the point. But that's already gone now, so Citizens really has some space to come back in. Encro switched up to Doomfist in spawn. The sound barrier comes out. They're really going for it now. And it looks like they're going to be able to get Dr. Foreskin again. No more res here for Nox, so it's going to be a numbers advantage for Citizens, and it looks like they finally might be able to break through, especially with that kill on Nox. That's going to be so big, And Razor falling. I think they're going to get it finally, but it took them a lot of time and a lot of effort to get through. Now they will only have 3 minutes for B.
That's true. We've got the changes to Assault on the most recent patch as well, so a little bit less time than they would have had in the past. But the key here is they are about to roll into point B with some ultimates in the bank. Crucially, default with the Graviton Surge could play a big role as they try to crack through here, maintain the momentum they were able to get on A, and make something happen. Here's the bomb, but they just back off.
And nice zoning though. They got the high ground with it. Dr. Foreskin will fall, but Romanov gets 2 kills. Vulcan gets rack attack. And it looks like the attack is already stumped here. They are going to use the Graviton here, and they do get a kill out of it, I think, but is it going to be enough? Because I don't think so. I think they didn't have to use that Grav, and now Bob is just going to clean house. So Romanov throwing that one out as a little bit of a goodbye present. And with 2 minutes left, they're really starting to get pressed for time here. And yeah, Anchor going back over to the May for that reason, I think.
This is not looking too pretty for Citizens at this point. They've got to figure out a way to break through here. On point A, it was kind of the spawn advantage that helped them get it, but this time it might be the kill into Romanov. The res is there immediately, though.
I mean, you have that space to work with, so Romanov just gets res back up. Nice shots from Encro, though, to take that Ash out of the running straight away. So they will at least not have to fight into the res, but they still have to get inside somehow. And that shield from Dr. Foreskin is just standing there, and Vulcan just spamming down the damage. They don't want to run into that alleyway for free, because Vulcan is going to get so close to a tire again. And there's the damage. He's got it now. Vulcan drops the safety, and he's probably going to throw out the tire pretty soon. Razor's turret does fall, but it's only a turret. He just builds one up. And Vulcan's tire gets nothing. He just dies for it because he ran down the stairs. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's going to be Frost taking on Cal as well. A lot of heal, a lot of protection gone. The res does not get denied, though, so Cal is back up. But Dr. Foreskin and Nox have already fallen. Romanov also going down. This looks like this might be the completion here for the side of Citizens. And that went a little bit better for them than it did on point A, but still, they don't have that much time left. Luckily, they don't get that much stall.
No, the wall there, the very end from Ankro keeps Dr. Foreskin from getting back out on the wrecking ball to stall for the team, and potentially with only 48 seconds left, that's the kind of stall that on Hanamura can last a while and could have potentially pushed into overtime. So well done by Citizens to get the closeout they needed to at least guarantee themselves another shot here on Hanamura.
Yeah, I do want to touch upon that May for a little bit, though, because like you said, that wall was very detrimental. It's like because they played the wall like May both on the first and on the second point. What is like the entire thought process behind it? Like just talk us through it a little bit. You don't have to go into detail, but what's the thing?
The idea, at least on point A, is that it really, really allows you to take control of the space there on the point. You've got this kind of 4-sided building with 4 entrances that are all roughly May wall sized, and it's an excellent way for a team that wants to run the tankier style to park themselves on the point and then just make a fight happen on their terms. So it worked out in the end there for Citizens, but we are going to have a brief pause here. It looks like, well, not sure exactly what's happening. Someone had to DC to
doesn't matter. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. That's not going to be an issue, and I think we're going to continue pretty soon. What we do see come out here on the defense already is a different style of bunker. It looks like it's going to be a bunker, but it's a different style of bunker. And it's going to be a 2 DPS. So it's a 2-2-2, but Bastion, just does a lot of damage. But Encro again on that May. So now they're using it on the defense, which is a little bit different from the offense, but it works in a similar way around the point and the choke, doesn't it?
Most definitely. It can still provide a lot of value. In this case, you are more necessarily looking to separate and isolate members of phase 1, whereas perhaps on the attack, you are kind of just looking to take control of the space on the point in the first place, keep people from getting in rather than walling them off and separating from the team. But still a very similar role here for Ankro.
Yeah, basically shield on cooldown, but it's worse. It's actually a wall. I like that they made Mei, you know, the Chinese character built walls. And there's the Chinese walls. That's always a big deal. It's not as big, but it's still there. Romanov tried to get in on the Stormbreeze. He immediately gets spotted out here by Frosted and Ankro, so that's a nice nice elimination they're gonna start out with. At least Romanov will know kind of where they are. But we see this Bastion attacker with the Orisa coming out, and before you know Romanov is back, what's the point? What they're trying to do with this?
So the idea here is that they're literally just going to melt the shield of Salieri, and they're going to try to use the immortality field to give a window for Razor to just fire away, to free fire into this bunker setup of Citizens, but they're just going to back off to the point, allow the rotation into the high ground for phase 1.
And phase 1's now on this deck here on the side of Hanamura. Falcon is just jumping around with his Winston. Romanov also just trying to get around them. So they're trying to give them this multi-angle to deal with, and they're really doing a good job of it. But you know, Nox is getting close to that nano. Cal's close to that to the amplification matrix, and there's a nice pull coming out from Dr. Foreskin. Doesn't quite lead to a kill, but it does at least make them shiver a little bit in their boots because they gotta reposition a little bit. There's the amplification matrix. So much extra damage going to be put in, but the wall blocks it off. And the amplification matrix is there for the defense, so it's going to actually be Default and Frost to take it the first 2 kills, and that looks like it's going to be it for the first attack here on the side of phase 1. And keep in mind, it looked like they were going to get a full hold, but now they might have to fight into full health themselves because it's almost 2 minutes down.
That is an aggressive supercharger coming out from Dr. Foreskin. It's not going to do anything for phase 1.
Default just melts them.
I mean, the supercharged Bastion just absolutely tears through them, and right now we're seeing the problem that you run into when you run the Bastion on the offense. He has no mobility. He has no way to really force a fight. And they tried to initiate with Vulcan diving in. A good bio nade from Nox almost gave phase 1 a chance to make that their fight. But Citizens get the kill onto the Winston, back off with the immortality field, and are able to hold out there.
Romanov is on the hunt though, has the EMP ready, so it's just gonna EMP this Bastion Orisa, maybe more. Actually gets 5. The only one not affected was Rack Attack, and meanwhile Romanov and Razor, Dr. Foreskin just cleaning everything up with one clean sweep. That is something that, you know, that's why you run Sombra. Like, even if everything fails, you still have the EMP, shut everything down, and then that entire composition has nothing on you. Bastion's not set up, Baptiste can't protect anyone. That was just a perfect play there.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we see the Sombra so prevalently right now, and they break out the Symmetra. They want to take control of this high ground, and now it's phase 1. How do you answer this?
I mean, Rack Attacks is just swapped off on and off of the thing. I mean, they can do the same thing with the EMP, but they have to build it up first. And it's going to be very hard for them to find an angle. They are trying to go underneath here. So they're going a little bit for this underneath attack, trying to find a different angle where the Bastion cannot really see them. They have found it, but what are they going to do from there?
But yeah, they can't see Citizens either. So unless, I'm surprised they haven't moved on to the point to at least try to force a fight to happen where they, you know, kind of in their sight lines. Maybe force someone to drop down. They're going to use the nano boost to try to send Vulcan up there. But that means nothing to a Bastion.
He has the primal, and he's gonna boop him off. This is what they wanted. They wanted Salieri down. Razor just cleans him up. Does get frozen afterwards, but the immortality field just requires him to enables him to stay alive. And now Default's up there. Doesn't have a new shield. He still has a little bit of a shield left, but they need to disable this Default high ground because he's just standing there and he's just shooting everything down. Yes, the May of Ankro did a lot of work, but Ankro was there to enable Default to keep doing damage, and only Salieri booped down.
No, at a certain point, they had gotten Salieri off of the high ground. Default was all alone up there, and they still couldn't manage to deal with the Bastion, sit alone up on the high ground. That was their window of opportunity, and you know, now they've got the EMP though. This was the recipe for success on A. Could be their opportunity here on B as well.
Razor a little bit of pressure, but they're just gonna find a new angle of attack. The tanks are already on the left deck here, so they're gonna go over to the next one. Oh, Razor doing the jumps with the Bastion. He's using his ult to get through the window. He does manage to make it. Almost gets saved by the Maywolf Ankro, but he drops it in time, so the self-destruct takes down Razor and Romanov. EMP, Bastion ult, both get no value whatsoever. The only one going down is Camboyo, and with those respawns, they'll be back in time. And I would see Romanov going over to the Reaper. I don't exactly know what's going to happen here, but with Racer on the Genji, and now the Torbjorn, I don't know what's happening here for Phase 1, but they're looking to make some switches, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen with those.
Yeah, this is a very bizarre comp right now. Dr. Forskin somehow just now dying. I think he might have been hiding on the side at one point, but got found out and eventually taken down as Citizens or hunt them down and eliminate the Orisa from the field. They're gonna keep on it until at least they use this supercharger. It's a very good ultimate, but how are they gonna break through this Bastion?
Oh, they get Camboyo away, so no immortality field up there for default just yet. Camboyo is safe for now, though, does not get taken out, but that was at least one pool that did something. That's what they're looking for here.
We're at a minute left, and
yeah,
Phase 1 are looking a little lost.
Look, it's one fight. They only need to get one fight. Vulcan does get taken out, but that's not what you wanted. Razor also falling, so they need to go again here. They can't miss a damage dealer and a main tank. They need a little bit more for that second point, but yeah, like you said, I wouldn't say they're necessarily looking lost, but they might be trying out something new, and obviously they have no ultimates to work with right now. And only 28 seconds to build something up to get something done. So it's not a lot of time. Frosted goes deep though. No, does not. No, they almost chased him down to get taken out, but did manage to get out there. So Romanov is going to go in a little bit deeper with that Reaper, but yeah, he will just be able to stand there. At least I'll get to the left deck now. Like, the only one that didn't get there is Razor, and he can still get there through other ways. Now they're going to throw out the Supercharger. The Self-Destruct comes in, and they're actually able to get on the point for a little bit. So they got some progress, but Vulcan and Nox already falling. Yes, default falls, but that's not going to be enough against that Blizzard. As I say that, though, Romanov gets a little bit of a kill on the rack attack there, and it's Razor on the point, will likely get frozen up and taken out by Ankro here. And Cal, desperately trying to get to that point, but will not make it as Diana. And that's going to be the first map going over to Citizens in a interesting fashion.
I have to, at some level, question the decision for Phase 1 to stick on the Bastion on the attack for that long. I can't say I really like trying to mirror the Bastion on attack on Assault, because you just have no way to actually gain the advantage. You needed that EMP to be your answer, but when it fell flat, the entire blueprint and the plan for Phase 1 kind of came apart at the seams.
At the first point, I really get it. So usually what you see teams do, but they executed it a little bit differently. Because usually what you see teams do is they take a lot of damage, and then their Baptiste will have ultimate, and the other Baptiste won't. Then you set up and you just melt their shield. But Citizens very smartly repositioned. They said, you know what? We're not going to play that game. We're just going to be on the point. So you have to get further forward in order to try and get that value. And meanwhile, we're trying to get the same value that you're trying to get. So we're sort of even. And if you're even, then the defense wins. Because like it's sort of that you had that same thing going on like way back when Mercy was very strong, where people just the only thing they did on Assault, they charged up the Mercy ult and then they started fighting. So they always had the Mercy ult for the first time, and then that happened. And that's the same thing that's going on with that same dynamic with Bastion right now. So you use the Baptiste to get the ult charge. And, if they do damage to you, you don't do damage to them, then you get Baptiste ult charge. You can just melt their shield down before they can do anything else, and you win that fight. But Citizens repositioned. Eventually, still got the first point with, more time than Citizens had left. But like you said, that second point was a very interesting way of approaching that. And I think a lot of teams are trying to figure out this bunker style right now, and it's going to be an interesting switch, if this comes through.
Yeah, and honestly, what you just talked about is, using that amplification matrix as a way to crack through the defensive bunker setup. I think that would have been a decent option there on point B if you rotate up to the opposite high ground. But Phase 1 continued to try to force their way down up underneath the Bastion setup of Citizens, and they could never get an angle to take out Default to really put any pressure on him for the most part. And he just sat up there unopposed, constantly disrupting them. They were struggling just to even get through the choke in the first place.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an odd moment for them, but as we know, this bunker style has been relatively new. It's mostly been an EU tactic that's been very successful in that region. Especially in the lower tiers of NA, or at least the not pro tiers of NA, it's been something that teams are still adjusting to. So you see Phase One, Citizens, both of them using it here, but both using very different styles of it, different ways of dealing with it. And I think Citizens has taken it to a new, they really made it their own. They're using these different heroes that you don't often see, or that you haven't really seen that much before, even in Europe. These combinations of heroes, and Phase One looked more like a standard approach that EU would also use, or that we have seen more often before. And it's very interesting as well. So we're going to go to Lijiang. Junkertown's been banned out. That Mei is being saved, because Ankro has been doing a lot of Mei play and being very successful with it. But Mei has been very important lately in these new metas, especially combined with an Orisa.
For sure. I mean, and when we're talking about the map that we're about to see, Lijiang Tower, Control Center has always been a friendly ground for Mei. That's I mean, that even when Mei was completely out of the meta, there were teams that would still run her on Control Center. So I like that pick for Citizens, both in terms of what the Mei pick has meant to their team so far tonight, and just in general knowing what we're about to see.
Yeah, D.Va is going to be banned here by Phase One, which is an interesting choice. There's a lot of reasons why you could ban the D.Va, but I am really interested to see what's going to happen, because the bunker has been very strong. Like it's been doing a lot of work in a lot of situations, but the one place where it doesn't have as much power is on control maps. So the pick for Lijiang is very intelligent by Phase One if they don't want to play as much into the bunkers and more go to DPS or just standard goats type compositions. Is very interesting, and I'm also interested to see if Citizens will actually try and pull something out like a bunker composition.
No, I mean, if I'm being
they
honest,
go for the Mei. So
if I'm being honest, I think the team that's more likely to pull out the bunker is Phase One. From what I've seen
normally,
from them, they are unafraid whatsoever to run the Orisa on these control maps. I've seen it on the Lijiang itself. So yes, they're not exactly running bunker when they do it, though. They have the Orisa, but they usually run it with triple DPS. They're no longer running the Bastion nearly as much. It's still possible they run that on Control Center at times, and it can be used, but where it's a little bit of a different style than what we saw in Hanamura.
But that does explain why they ban out the D.Va, though. Like, if they want to run more DPS, and it's also if they want to run Orisa, like, there's a lot of things the D.Va does against all of those heroes. The only thing that really doesn't get affected by it are most supports outside of Ana. Like, Ana and Moira, actually. They're, like, the ones that really get affected by it. But yeah, like you said, they have right now, they have triple DPS with that Orisa locked in. But they still have some time, so it's likely that we can expect this coming out. But I'm really interested to see what Ankro can do with the Mei on all of these stages, if he's going to use it there, because they did save it, so they really have plans for using the Mei a lot.
Certainly, and they've got it in this 2-2-2 setup right here alongside Default Doomfist, who could really have a field day with the back line of Phase One.
They're going to start clashing into each other. Vulcan just scouting out a little bit. This time it's going to be Romanov again on the Ashe. Did a lot of work on that on Hanamura, so really interested to see if he's going to get as much done here. The ult percentage does already take up for that Bob, so that's looking good. Dr. Foreskin taking some ground here with the Orisa. We'll definitely try and put some more pressure here. And it's going to be Citizens a little bit on the back foot here. It's actually going to be Frost that's slept here by Cal already. Romanov taking a little bit of damage, but will be healed up by Nox and Cal. So, yeah, looking good here so far for both teams. There's going to be Camboyo and Rack Attack. First of all, that's your supports down. That should probably be it. But with the main tank of Dr. Foreskin fall, no, gets res back up. I was going to say, with that falling, going to be maybe problematic. There's going to be Salieri probably going down for more permanently. Frosted also going to fall. Default gets out alive, I think. But Encro not going to be so lucky, and neither will Camboyo be, who actually managed to come back pretty quickly.
That's just a slow and steady crunch coming in from phase one. They set themselves up out in the courtyard, and Citizens park themselves on the point where they don't really have the range to do a whole lot of damage to phase one. As that point opens up for the first time, and without that, they can't really win the ensuing fight. They get poked down too heavily, and now they're trying to approach from the hallway. That's the way to go, but the Bob is there.
Yeah, it's the same angle of approach, but Bob Lake is already there. Is going to be frozen. There's the hack already. Razor taking down 2 here, 3 with the Molten Load, and Romanov, finishes it off with the Bob kill. Vulcan will finally get that kill on the Frosted rack attack. Last of all. Yeah, I mean, that was just a very quick fight. A lot of ults used though by phase one, but they will still have another 3.
Certainly, they're just going to keep cycling them, and the thing is, these 3 ultimates that they're about to unleash will charge the other ones, give more damage over to these 3 DPS, so that they can build back up to the ultimates we saw in the last fight. So they're in a very solid position here. This fight really needs to go to Citizens, but they're going to be pushing into that Supercharger.
The Supercharger immediately out already. So much damage potential here for this side of phase one, and they're looking so good on this point so far. That's going to be Dr. Foreskin trying to pull someone out to get some more damage on them, but for now, Citizens are going to come in with 6 ultimates, and they're going to use them all. Dr. Foreskin's going to be the first to fall. Frosted is getting closer to the Graviton, but they might not even need it for this fight, because the res on the Dr. Foreskin. Is it going to come in? No, Nox gets taken down by the Blizzard in the end, actually gets the last hit. And it's going to be Bob trying to stall for more time. 90% already ticking, so they will be in 1 fight potential, even if they lose this one. Vulcan does manage to get the Constellation kill to default, but I think they're going to be retreating here and trying again later. Only 2 ultimates used, though, for Citizens. That's very conservative play, considering the circumstances.
Certainly, but phase one still not going to be too upset by what's gone down here. Probably could have held on to another ultimate or 2 in that fight, but they're gonna have the EMP in not too long a time. As soon as Vulcan can get this one charged up, that's gonna be the opportunity for them to really come back in here. But Citizens do have the tools to make a fight out of this. The Grav and the Shatter for this next fight, alongside both those support ultimates.
Yeah, they should have the tools to work with, but Romanov already taking down Camboyo. I think they definitely starting to fight off good there. Vulcan does fall, but almost actually too close to the EMP to really fall there. And now Razor also going down. That's a lot of damage potential gone already. Dr. Foreskin does manage to get out, and Romanov picks it back, gets default, and Wreck Attack out of the fight. So they're going to have to pull together here on the side of Citizens, and their ultimates are basically gone. Camboyo, the only one with a sound barrier. Are they going to use that here? Because it looks like they have to, but Vulcan's going to come back in with the EMP, so sound barrier gets cancelled out. Salieri and Frosted will immediately fall. Encro, Camboyo, it looks like it's only going to be default here, trying to sustain here. Rack Attack, maybe for a little bit of healing, a little bit of stall, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like this is going to be the first point going over here towards phase one in 3%, 2, 1, and I don't think the Hammond will make it. No, he will not.
That hack is there from Vulcan to keep Frosted off of the point, and even still, he would have been in.
I don't think he would have made it anyways. I don't think he would have made it even without the hack, though. But it doesn't really matter. What it matters is that we get phase one on that first stage win. Let's see if they're going to switch anything up here for the second point, because this is a little bit of a different one.
Yeah, Razor made a really good heads-up swap to the Reaper there at the very end. Uses the teleport and the Wraith form to get back into the fight quickly, and able to clean up on the vulnerable members of Citizens after that EMP came through. It doesn't look like we're seeing any changes on either side coming into Night Market. Both teams seem to be fairly happy with how things played out. Citizens probably just want to make a few changes, get control of the point first, and they'll have a better opportunity to do it, considering that they are already there.
They're gonna go onto the point straight away once again. Nice dynamite from Romanov immediately gets him up to about 40% ult charge. There's a lot of damage done here. Falcon as well, spraying from the sides, doing so much damage in these pre-fight situations. And now for Dr. Force can just walks onto the point, make sure they can't really cap it straight away. Even dodges the follow-up from the May wall, just walks to the side with that Fortify. Does go down here to so does Wreck Attack, and Nox doesn't get the res off. We're still in even territory though. Both main tanks and main supports have gone down here. But it's gonna be Bob going onto the point. Default being very low, actually gets taken out by the big butler. And Vulcan will just finish off this kill onto Camboyo. No, has to translocate out. Razor though does want to take that fight. Just walks in with the Torbjorn, had the hammer out, but doesn't get any kills with it. It's gonna be the first control. Did go over the Citizens, but they don't hold on for too long, so we're about even in percentage here. But this fight is not over. This is going to keep coming, keep on going, until finally Camboyo and Salieri fall again. Default will also go down, and that's going to be the firm point control here for phase 1 now.
And with it, a massive ult economy lead at this moment. 4 on the board. Nox getting close to that Valkyrie as well. So they are in a very solid spot, but Citizens do get that 15%. That could make a little bit of difference if they can get back in here, make a competitive fight here on the next go-round. They'll have some tools of their own. Salieri with this Earth Shatter, the first one to look at.
Salieri trying to get it out, but it's just going to be in the shield like you said. May is on the point here. Will almost have a Blizzard, but will just get hacked and deleted because they already used the Ice Block. There's going to be a charge out from Salieri. Tries to get the safety. Will he live? Yes, he will. A lot of healing coming in from Rack Attack and Camboyo there. But Vulcan doesn't want to give up. Goes in deep, goes in very deep. Will not get a kill, but also will get out alive. So we're just having these teams 6v6 facing up again. And they're going to have to really start getting something going here, Citizens. They do have the ultimates to work with. Only thing they won't have is Shatter. And yeah, I'm curious to see whether this is going to lead to anything, because the defense also has a lot of ultimates.
Yeah, and the EMP could be the big one. It's going to come out from Vulcan as soon as Citizens try to make their push in. They're stalled out by yet another solo kill onto Default. And now phase 1 can pretty much, you know, wait for this final fight, wait for Vulcan to unleash the EMP, and be there to capitalize. Here it comes.
Oh, there it is. Nice EMP. The sound barrier from Camboyo is this time after the EMP, so it actually gets some extra life here. Razor takes down Encro, but Dr. Foreskin is already on the case of dying, and Cal and Romanov and Razor will all fall into that nicely placed Graviton. So this is going to be a fight win for Citizens, and at 99%, they really needed to take that point, because otherwise this map would make it a 1-1 in the series already.
Vulcan hits nearly every member of Citizens with that EMP, except for the one member who had the ult that could save them. Camboyo able to get the EMP off, keep Citizens alive in that fight, and now on this point, and even in the map, still in a little bit of a sticky situation here.
Salieri had to run away, but Default gets the kill on the Vulcan just as a counter. So it's still going to be Citizens holding on because they don't want to push in without Vulcan there. Salieri going very low though. Default as well. Are they going to be able to get a finish on either of these?
No, Default actually uses the Meteor Strike, so
he'll be able to force it out. He just goes out and gets healed by his team there, but now Vulcan is back, so they're going to be able to run back in. Romanov already throwing in the Bob here, so the Robot Butler are going to be taking control of the point if no one contests him. Rack Attack going dangerously low. There's going to be Vulcan the first to fall. Ancro being answered there, and Default just goes in, but goes for Razor, actually gets him. Meanwhile, Vulcan's res, Default's going down. And now both the Nano Boost and the Sound Barrier are going to do so much work, but Salieri still goes down because of all the damage coming out from Dr. Foreskin. And Romanov here on the Bob, actually on the Ash and the Orisa, and they're just gonna chase them down, just gonna go outside. They don't care. They don't care if they get booped off. They're just gonna just destroy them before they get the opportunity to. Ancro is back on the ball, will not be for long, and it looks like it's gonna be the first map going over to phase 1. Sorry, second map already. I'm so used to starting on control. It's the second one, and we're 1-1 in this series, guys.
Yeah, we've got a good one on our hands so far. Phase 1 answering back, and I gotta say,
the hack play, I love it. That's the one. That's the one you look for. That's he cancels out the sound barrier and just does so much damage. Look at that tracking. That's good tracking, guys. I mean, I don't want to compare it to any Danish gods, but that's definitely a good tracking. Some good tracking there. I do have one question for you though, Shy Guy. We've seen so much Pharah come out when you run multi DPS compositions, especially when you run a Mercy with them. Is there like a reason why they're not choosing to do that here?
There could be any number of reasons why they're choosing not to do that here.
I mean, they even banned out the debuff, right? The main counter to it.
That's fair. I mean, it would have been a reasonable pick there for phase one, considering the triple DPS that they're running. It slots in so nicely into what they're doing, but in my mind, they've kind of subbed out the Ashe in for that Pharah in terms of doing the long range damage, being the primary recipient of that Mercy damage boost, and going for the AoE damage with the dynamite. And it can come down to something as simple as the hero pools, although I kind of doubt that when we're talking about players of this caliber. I don't expect that phase one doesn't have anyone on the team to play Pharah. So I think it's more just a stylistic choice. They're going for, in my mind, a little bit more long range poke and a little bit more shield break than you might get out of the Pharah.
Yeah, what's really interesting to me now is the Orisa going to be banned out from the side of Citizens, because they've played it every single map. Yeah, I mean, I would say phase one would more likely save it, because then otherwise Citizens would almost 100% ban it. I feel it's just they haven't run any other main tank so far. I mean, they've run Vulcan as a secondary tank on the Winston. It's going to be Temple of Anubis being picked. They're going to go for another 2CP map, guys. And that is something that's also pretty rare in this tournament, because we've seen so many of them being banned out. I haven't seen Paris yet, though. I mean, we're not in that territory just yet, but we might if this one goes on. Eichenwald's been banned out, so no Junkertown, no Eichenwald in these series. They're gonna be played. And that's also interesting, because those are maps we've seen very frequently in this tournament so far. So might that have to do something with the series? I don't know. What I do know is these players have been showing so much good stuff that I would hate it if none of you guys were voting on MVPs, because we do have the panels, I believe, underneath the stream. So if you get a chance, even if you're on D Live, just hop over to those panels on Twitch, click someone who you think is doing very well. If you want to wait for a bit, definitely do it. I mean, sometimes, I'd like to take my time, watch all the maps that are being played, and then pick my player. We do have some time after the match ends, but, it's up to you. Vote whenever. Just vote. That's all I have.
Certainly, we want to know what you at home think about this series, and who deserves the MVP at the end of the day. So far we've got a lot of good options really on both sides. Dr. Foreskin playing the Orisa, kind of the centerpiece for phase one right now. And then I've been especially partial to Ankro on the Mei so far for Citizens.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to be Orisa on the defense, so they're going to save it. They're going to start on defense in phase one. I think that's you said it. You were calling it. They're going to save the Orisa probably. I would have liked to maybe see them being pushed to something else than playing the Orisa, but on the other hand, this tournament allows you to do it, and even if there's no hero bans and picks, they're still going to play the Orisa. So it's a more of a realistic thing, I'd say. Ashe is going to be banned, though. Okay. And that's interesting, because they have had a little bit of trouble with that Ashe. And like you said, that might have been a substitute they would normally play Pharah into. So maybe we'll see a Pharah now come out from Romanov, or maybe from Vulcan, from Razor. It's all possible.
Certainly, it at least kind of throws a wrench into what phase one want to do
normally. Normally do. Let's not abandon anything. But it is interesting that Citizens bans that, because they haven't played the Ashe themselves, so they're not banning anything they use themselves, which is always nice.
Certainly, I think we've seen so far that phase one, at least a little bit more on, I guess, the forefront of the meta right now. Although Citizens, I got to commend them. Their variability and their flexibility at this point, I think, is serving them very well in this series. We've seen them play a lot of different things, and it means that they have options when dealing with phase one and their kind of unusual style. I'll be curious if we see more of the Bastion out of Citizens here on Anubis. It's certainly viable on point A in those bunker setups, so could be in the cards.
Yeah, and so we're going to Temple of Anubis, to the wonderful place, the wonderful country of Egypt, actually. And there's quite a few things that you could look up about Egypt. You always have the entire ancient culture of Egypt, all the temples. Obviously, we're fighting in the temple here. These wonderful Anubis god statues, which look a little bit more futuristic than the ancients may have depicted it, but still nicely to see, though. What I always think about when Egypt, though, because I'm kind of a person that loves food and drinks and stuff like that. I really want to try like proper Egyptian tea at some point because I've heard that's amazing and they have so many different flavors. I'm really looking forward to do that someday. But I gotta watch my money currently, so to really have the funds. But who knows? Someday. That's what the hope is. That's what all this is for. The only reason I cast is to one day be able to drink tea in Egypt, guys.
Oh yeah, we're in eSports for the money. Like that's why everyone.
Oh yeah,
right.
100%.
I'm trying to get rich.
Yeah. We're going to see this bunker defense come out, and Razor's going to go over to the Junkrat, Romanov onto the Widowmaker. We're kind of on the Season 1 Overwatch League train, but just Cal on the Baptiste instead of a Diva. So that's what we're seeing here. Almost an Outlaws type of composition here. And the attackers, they're on the Mei again. Encro pulling it out once more.
Yeah, this is fascinating. What are they really going to be doing with this Mei? What are the walls actually going to accomplish? It could give them access to this high ground if they really want to force Dr. Foreskin off of it. They could find a way to boost themselves up there. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case as they drop down. They're going to wrap around behind the point now.
Yeah, Romanov and Vulcan were both under a little bit of pressure, but so far they've only been able to charge their ultimates. Yes, Rack Attack has got the Coalescence, but that might not be enough to go against a Tire and maybe even one-shots from Widowmaker. Frost is going very low here, but does manage to get back to safety. Will get healed up, but just keeps taking so much damage. So it's actually going to be the Tire closer from Razor. That's what they're waiting for. That's the tool they need to hold this push. It finally comes out, but Razor will fall once again using that. Last time it was Vulcan, so the Junkrat's not being lucky today. And with Nox and Romanov falling as well, it looks like this defense is going to be over.
The problem there for Phase 1 is their defensive setup doesn't have a lot of ability to contest the point. Citizens playing things very slow and steady on point A, take their time to get in onto the point, force a fight on their terms. The early Coalescence from Rack Attack gives them staying power they need to keep that one going, and eventually they just wear them down. Dr. Foreskin falls, and without that main tank, things get very tough.
Romanov on the Reaper now will be damage boosted here by Nox. Just make sure they're going into the right phase, just funnels them into that temple, and it's gonna be Vulcan ready with that EMP. So as long as he catches out Camboyo, that will be a nice hack coming out, because otherwise he might have the sound barrier in time.
Certainly, and I think on some level, Citizens might be playing this slow in hopes that Camboyo gets up to that so they can engage
100%
properly. They're gonna
the Shatter! It catches out Vulcan and Romanov will be able to shift away. The Amplification Matrix is out. There is the Blizzard. They're going in both directions. Romanov will fall to the self-destruct, so Dr. Foreskin just trying to ring around the Rosie them inside of that temple, but it's not going to be enough. It's just going to be Nox trying to fly around in that Valkyrie mode, but that has also ended. There's another Tire here from Razor, and he actually gets Salieri with it this time. The first hit goes over, and he lives as well. That's the most important part, because last time he didn't get either, and that's going to be Dr. Foreskin. Hacked, frozen, actually not frozen, just frozen and in the Graviton, but Romanov comes back as well. The Immortality Field saves everyone, and it looks like they might be able to hold on here. Almost 2 ticks here captured for Citizens. Will they step on the point for like a little bit longer? I think not. I think no. They won't get the 2 ticks, I think, but it's getting closer. They might still.
Phase 1
Dr.
is still
Foreskin
here
goes down
in numbers, though, and they're
here. Yeah,
finally
they're gonna hold.
Salieri, and that'll be it. They'll have to turn tail and run just shy of that second tick.
It looked like they might have been able to get it, because it was in a matter of like half a second. Every one of the Phase 1 stepping on the point, but good hold. I mean, it's 1 tick. 1 tick you lose, but you'd rather lose 1 tick than 3, I suppose.
Now, losing 1 tick is honestly not much of an issue if you are Phase 1, especially when you look at their ult bank coming into this next fight. Razor gonna have another one. There's the
Oh,
EMP.
the EMP and the Death Blossom. I've not seen such Death Blossom in so long. Like, obviously, I've seen it in my ranked games, but in organized play, those Death Blossom kills, they're so hard to set up. And the only way you can really do it, I think, is with something like an EMP or maybe a Shatter. Because you have to disable them. They can't have any abilities, or you'll just get countered as Reaper. So, nicely done.
Certainly, I love to see it. It harkens back
I really do.
to the days of old when Reaper used to
the big lead. Oh, Rack Attack already falls to Razor. That's so much healing gone, and they only have a Lucio. They do have a Sound Barrier and a Blizzard, so they might want to fight this, but they're going very deep here. Ankro gets hacked, so no Blizzard just yet, and it's going to be Frosted being demeched as well. Yeah, they're going to lose this fight. They maybe want to get some ultimates out, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen either.
No, phase one, very disciplined there, not using anything more than they have to win that fight. And that's going to put them in a very good spot. And they'll need every tool that they can possibly get for this next one. You know, Citizens coming in here absolutely loaded.
They definitely are. They have a lot, but they don't have that Graviton, neither of the Coalescence. The most important thing is, once again, they have to take the fight very quickly for Camboyo to have the Sound Barrier and not get countered by the EMP. But Vulcan is ready. Salieri's barrier is already down. They really need that one. I mean, you can't just walk in here without a barrier. And Razor's ready with the tire as well. Already comes out, zones them out even further. He has to self-destruct, comes out, but it doesn't get anything. Meanwhile, Salieri goes down to the tire. So it's actually going to be a numbers advantage here for the defense. And they also have spawn advantage. It's going to be Romanov just teleporting out. Doesn't want to stick anywhere near the enemy team of Citizens. And look at Citizens just trying to maybe get out alive. And I think they will be able to, but that's a lot of time wasted. Another 40 seconds gone or so.
Yeah, and in the meantime, basically every ultimate online for the set of phase one. Razor the only one who had to use
the EMP. But Camboyo was in time with the Sound Barrier though. He was hidden properly, so they do actually manage to all live through that. But it's only one ult use, traded out, and they still have an ultimate advantage. That's going to be the Blizzard. He's going to be the Reaper ult. Romanov gets out alive. Victor Foreskin doesn't get frozen as well. It's actually going to be Camboyo and Salieri falling first. Nox does go down, but it looks like the defense is going to be able to hold once again. Though I say that, Dr. Foreskin does go down. Romanov has to get this kill in the Rack Attack, but Rack Attack is just going to choose to retreat together with default. And that's ultimate use on both sides and nothing gained for Citizens.
Rack Attack gets slept and then dealt with immediately. That's a rough stagger. Although it's not going to be super It's not going to be super meaningful here, as this next fight was going to be Citizens last, no matter what.
Anyways,
they've got to make it happen here and now. And look what's waiting for them. Romanov with the heads up swap onto the Bastion. He knows they have to fight on the point, and he's just going to mow them down.
And I also gonna have another tire, so there's Razor throwing that one out, going for the back line. And there it is. Salieri goes down again. Didn't have the shield anyways anymore, but that's just gonna put a very big nail into the coffin, I feel. They do have default approaching, gets the Graviton out, but there's a big shield and a big immortality field in the way. So Dr. Foreskin and Nox able to save everyone. Actually, Nox able to save themselves, but it doesn't really matter if you kill all the kills on your side. Vulcan with the celebratory EMP, and that is almost a full hold on second. They did give away one tick, which could prove pivotal, but that's still a good haul here for phase one.
Certainly, they'll be pretty happy with how things go there on Anubis. You know, especially considering how quick point A went down. It's not like they held that for 3 minutes and then carried it into point B. They locked down point B for incredibly long time there. So they've got to be in a good mindset as they go over to the attack. Pretty comfortable there outside of the one fight where Citizens got their tick. But now things get interesting. Do Citizens break out the Bastion again?
Well, they look very good on it on Hanamura, and they actually managed to, well, not first point, but they almost managed, they didn't manage to full hold point B, so no percentage gain at all. That's why I was saying, like, that 66.1% could prove pivotal if the story of Hanamura repeats itself and they don't get anything. But no, phase one, they might be up to the challenge. They're at least going to throw out the Orisa Hog this time. So they're like, you know what? We had a few good pulls last time, but this time we will actually want to have the hook to be able to kill those people that we pull away from the shield. Because that was our main problem. They had very good pulls. I think Dr. Forskin showed a lot of promise there, but it just didn't really have much to follow it up on. And I think Romanov, Razor, even Vulcan and Cal to a degree could do a lot to help with that.
Certainly, and now Citizens going to be setting up on this first intermediate high ground. They looked like they were briefly contemplating going up on the back high ground. You know, the season 1 Overwatch League strats. That
Nice
wall from
Vulcan.
But the shield is still there. The hook will take out Frosted.
It did allow them to take a little bit of a different position, so Frosted's mech is at least taken down here, and it's going to be a Razor and Dr. Foreskin in this little room on the right. They're able to be in a better position to do these hook combos. They get the halt, they don't get the hook, but it's going to be Razor just pumping him down from the side. Romanov gets the kill onto Camboyo, but Vulcan also falling. So who is going to edge out this fight here? It looks like it might be phase 1, because they do get the kill on Salieri. That's a big one. No more shields from default, and Camboyo, while they're there, no, Camboyo was also already down, so they don't even have the immortality field anymore. Default's going to have so much trouble here trying to set up. He's going to try to get into this room on the left here, but I don't think he's going to have much success with that, because Salieri has to come back on the Wrecking Ball. There's the Nano Bastion, though. That's going to be so much damage, but they're able to just dodge the damage and still stand on the point. So it's going to be over 2 ticks already, and it's going to be Razor. Oh, he tried to throw out the whole hawk to push it off the point, but actually went down for it. Ankro throwing out the Blizzard. Dr. Foreskin will not be frozen by that because of the nice fortifying mechanic, and they will take the first point in a relatively quick fashion. Not as quick as Citizens, but quick enough to set a good time on B if they want to just finish out this map.
Certainly, and now they're probably going to make some swaps. Romanov and Razor on those quick heroes to get back to the spawn room in time.
Ooh.
Romanov on the Reaper yet again. Razor back over to the Roadhog.
Yeah, we do have default and Camboyo now with their ultimates. Frost and Rack Attack also pretty close, so that could be dangerous. But default
gives it up. Yeah, he wants to go directly to the Sombra.
Sense, right? Yeah, Salieri on the Winston as well, so they're doing a very different defense here, and Winston's still coming out of spawn. There's already the Blizzard from the attackers. It looks like Ankro might be frozen up. Will actually go down. Rack Attack is still safe. We'll be able to get away here. There's already progress going. First stick already captured. Are they going to be able to defend it? No! They didn't even get on the points!
Oh,
that was... What happened there? That was... They had members, right?
They had members there, but the problem was, you know, they swapped over to the Winston, and there was no way for him to you know, be a presence on the point with what phase 1 are running. The Reaper and the Roadhog on the other side. That is a Winston's worst nightmare. In, you know, without their main tank being able to really be in that fight. Citizens just don't have the sustainability. Ankro goes down incredibly early. That would have been their other option for stalling things out, and it all just kind of falls apart there at the very end. What was, you know, at least had the potential to go a little bit further, ends pretty abruptly there.
Yeah, you know, it's very nice because phase 1 has this very distinct style of just saying we're going to run the Orisa, and then everything else just, you know, changes depending on what the map is or what you run or whatever. So they do understand what they need to switch. So they're really subscribing to the idea of we're just going to run Orisa because it's the best option for us, and then just DPS and healers with it. That's all we do. And that's a very nice idea to subscribe to. What is also very nice to subscribe to is, yes, I know I did that there. You could potentially subscribe to this lovely Twitch channel. You know, we're putting up these tournaments a lot. I think it's a very exciting match. It kind of shows, you know, what we can bring you. So it's something. You know, if you want to support the channel, support the tournament, support, well, everything that we're trying to do here, definitely consider giving it to us. But, you know, we're not going to push you anything. What I do want to push on you, once again, is MVP votes, because we've seen so many great plays come out with so many different players that I can personally not choose. I would never tell you who I choose, but I cannot choose in this instance. So I'm curious what you guys will say about that. And maps are still banned. Paris is going to be added to that ban list, so I think we're out of 2CP maps now.
Yes. Phase 1 don't. Well, we couldn't have played another 2CP at least immediately, but phase 1 don't want to see it for the rest of the series. So they're going to take Paris away from us. Looks like we'll be going to Hollywood. Which
Ooh, that is very interesting though, because on Hollywood, while on defense it might be possible to run it like the Orisa like DPS style, I think on attack you're gonna have more trouble with it. Because especially if you run into that goat style that just stands on the high ground, just runs over them, that could be interesting as a counter. But I don't know what Citizens is planning. I don't know what Phase One is planning. All I know is I'm expecting Orisa to be saved, and that's about it.
certainly, I don't know exactly what to expect. You know, Citizens has thrown so many different looks at us here tonight. Um, I have a feeling we might get our first real taste of goats here tonight. Wow. If you had told me I was going to be saying that, a month or two ago, I would not have believed you. But
I know, right?
here we are. There's the Protect Orisa coming out from Phase 1. Will the Ash ban be in effect once again? It ultimately didn't work out for Citizens. I could see something like the Reaper ban, honestly, which would be
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna go for. The Ashban was interesting though, because I think you highlighted that after point A was captured, is that they didn't really have anything to go into the points. Had they had the Ash, so also the Bob, that was something that was a very strong tool that could have helped them out in the first point defense. Didn't really matter in the end, but that could have really been a thing. And I think they might still want to ban the Ash for that same reason, because it's still a very effective tool. And it's not like Diva. It's not like if you destroy the Diva, then you get it, you get all that ult charge, because you don't get any ult charge from Bob. You just don't, and it's a lot of health to chew through. So usually you just don't. You choose to just not focus on Bob, just run away from him and kill something else.
Certainly, and this is a very solid map for Ash, especially this first point. It's something I see quite a lot of, at least from the defensive side of things.
Mostly on defense, I was going to say mostly on defense.
Yeah, the kind of ranges when you can sit up in that cafe high ground. That's kind of the perfect range of attack for Ash to really be dealing with. Those intermediate to kind of longer sight lines, not quite Widowmaker length, but that works very well here on Hollywood. The Reaper ban actually coming out, I mean, it was a problem for Citizens there on Anubis, so I totally understand that pick.
Yeah, it's very, very understandable. I think you can really so when you set up this bunker defense, right? On Hollywood, you would usually do it in the cafe, and if someone is good at flanking around, that was like Reaper can really get behind them in that cafe and provide an extra angle of attack. So that could have been a thing why they do want to do it. They might also just not want to deal with the Reaper whatsoever, because Romanov was doing a lot of damage on it. And you already see it going on the chat. They're not happy that Reaper is banned. Might just be a joke. Obviously, the one thing that everyone always agrees on is that they hate Widowmaker. But it's what we're gonna go for. Hollywood, though, I mean, it's been a very interesting map lately. And we actually saw Citizens draw the map when they played against American Revolution here. And they both had such a good Goats defense that it's going to be really interesting to see what Citizens is going to do when they're not playing against Goats in Hollywood. Because that's what they've been practicing lately. And now that we're looking for the meta and just the whole system of Overwatch to completely switch away from that, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I really don't know. I'm expecting Orisas once again, but on which sides and when and how, I just don't know. I feel Citizens does have to come up with a new answer towards this bunker, though, on both attack and defense.
Right. They haven't really had the best answers for it so far. I mean, if you think back to Hanamura, the reason their bunker defense works so well is that it does work well against the bunker offense, but their attack was slow on Hanamura. It wasn't like they blazed through the map. They barely squeaked over the finish line on that one. So, and since then they have not really had answers for what Phase 1 has run against them. But before we get into the action here, I want to take a moment to thank Kalisti, who just came through with 5 gifted subs, including 1 to yours truly. So I appreciate that.
That is a lovely one.
That is a wonderful gift.
You're watching yourself talking 3 minutes later. That's definitely. I mean, Support the channel though, guys. It's something we really appreciate. And just 5 gifted subs. I mean, you know, what can we do with 5 gifted subs? Let's just dream up a scenario.
We could have.
We
like,
can't
an
go
ice
to
cream
Egypt
sundae
for
party?
it. So we can't go to Egypt for it,
No.
but we can drink tea when we arrive in Egypt for that. So that is something that's
we'll
amazing.
Pay for the airfare.
Yeah, pay for the airfare, etc. And we can even then stream from Egypt because then we're there. You can tell you about how the tea is. That's something we could do. Before that, though, we're just gonna have to finish a few more tournaments, a few more matches, because you know we obviously not expecting you guys to spend millions of dollars on us. But hey, look at this. This is gonna be a goats attack, and then once again, running Ankro on this May. Has been looking good and less good at times, but it's been an interesting pick. And Ankro's been doing a lot of work on it. It's interesting to see what's going to happen. Instead, it's going to be Rack Attack falling early once again. That's been happening quite often. And Romanov back on the Ashe.
Well, I mean, that's right there is exactly why you see the Ashe pick in the first place. A damage-boosted headshot with Mercy in tow is enough to get the one-hit kill onto the healer in the backline. And you know, Rack Attack still already up to 65% on the first coalescence.
I mean, you left click once, you get about 60% ult charge, right? You don't even have to hold it. You click it once and all that healing. But like it's so nicely done from Romanov. And they're not changing up anything. Like you said, you would think they had to come up with a few different answers here, but they're still not changing much.
Oh, no.
Default get trapped, gets taken down by Razor here. They are managing to get behind them now, so maybe even without default, they want to just keep this position and go in adds on.
And the wall there from Ankro was just a little bit off as he tried to get the team through the choke point. Cut them off a little bit, and he ended up having to take that down, which led to Default's demise. But the Coalescence is out, going to at least put in some damage onto the opposite high ground.
Bob already on the point is going to try and stop the percentage from coming through, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. Obviously, they can't capture anything when Bob was there, but Bob is gone now. He hasn't got as much value as he has in previous attempts here, so it's going to be able for Citizens. They're just going to walk up to the point. No Bob, no Orisa. First stick almost coming through, and Foreskin has to drop together with Vulcan, but then Nano Junkrat. That's a lot of extra damage on those nades. Will he be able to get some extra damage down? There's the Molten Core, so once again, they have to back off. They don't even get that first stick, but that's another 2 ultimate use from the defense.
Certainly, and not a ton coming out from Citizens just yet. They're just now about to get most of their first batch of ultimates online. Rack Attack could get a second Coalescence in this fight, as now they got the first tick. They got the position on the point.
They're coming through. There's the tire. Camboyo going down to the dynamite. Will this be the comeback? Vulcan's tire. It actually gets frozen. It doesn't get anywhere. Will it get any kills in the end? It does get 2. Vulcan and Cal had gone down, but Cal just gets res back up, so it looks like Citizens once again is going to be pushed back. And they only got 1 minute and 20 seconds left by the time they're all respawned.
They're just not quite getting enough value out of the ultimates when they throw them in. Default's grab was pretty decent up on the high ground, but the follow-up just not quite there. Salieri not in position at the time it was thrown out to get in there and cleave through with the hammer. So they just can't get enough kills out of it, and the double kill from Vulcan enough to send them packing.
Yeah, they're going to go through the same thing again. They're going to have a wall down. No one in the trap this time. But they do manage to get to the cafe without dying. A lot of damage being done on them, though. Frosted goes very low. But it's going to be the save, and they're going to be healed up, and so many ultimates online. They have the self-destruct. They have the shatter. Vulcan already out, so no tire for this fight. Bob is not on the line. The Molten Core is not on the line. This looks good for Citizens, but they've already got to start getting some more kills. There's a self-destruct. Shields breaks. Nox will go down. No more res. No more nothing. Camboyo does fall to the turret, but the turret also goes down. Nano Orisa. There is the Bob. The shatter onto the Bob, though, but the Molten Core comes out. So many ultimates being used. So many tools being used to zone out Citizens. But Citizens is still getting the better out of most of it. Although saying that Ankro and Frosted going down is not a good start, not a good continuation. Rack Attack falling to Vulcan, who had gone back, will not be able to get the tire out, I think. No, it actually got cancelled. But Camboyo falling again to Romanov. Romanov just unchallenged on that high ground, will still keep getting the kills. Salieri going for a little bit of a cute play with that charge. Salieri will finally get him, but I think Nox is going to get that res up once again. Dr. Foreskin gets frozen, throws out the supercharger, but it looks like Citizens is not going to get any more than 56.7%. And phase one again with such a good hold. It's actually really scaring me now, Shy Guy.
They are really coming into their own right now. Started a little bit slow earlier in the night, but these past 3 maps have really shown us what they can do. It's been a very impressive showing, and now all that's left for them is to close things out, get just over 50% here on Point A of Hollywood, and the series will be theirs. Their ticket into the grand finals will be punched. And they will have kind of cemented themselves as potentially the best team or the favorites to win this tournament. And I gotta say, Dr. Foreskin was just a pillar on the point during that final fight. Absolutely nothing that Citizens threw at her was able to clear that Orisa off. The nano boost being invested, those fortifies were perfectly timed. And just the entire time that fight is raging on around her, Dr. Foreskin is there, the stable presence to keep phase one in the fight.
Yeah, but I mean, so we obviously phase one is doing a very good job. I mean, that Ashe is working out well. Even the Junkrat and the Torbjorn are getting a lot of value. But we got to talk a little bit about Citizens just not changing anything up ever. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You know, obviously you can just use this as good practice against comps like that. But I always got to wonder, like personally, if I feel you might want to sometimes switch something up, and they haven't really been doing that much on attack. They have been on defense from now time to time, so they're on this Orisa composition again. But it's such a hard task fighting into this, and Vulcan is now going over to that Pharah that we haven't seen before. So let's see what Default and Frosted can do against that, together with A and Camboyo. There's a lot of hit scan at least in the defense, so that's boding okay for them.
Certainly, they will have ways to pressure out Vulcan, but he's really just going to be laying in damage, poking down this shield from long range, trying to build up to that ultimate. I'm a little bit surprised we aren't seeing the Sombra come out from phase one, considering, you know, that's definitely been in their wheelhouse, and they already have gotten Default somehow.
And they got Default. Camboyo's Immortality Field not able to save that there. It's going to be the attack here from phase one, going hard and heavy. Rack attack also falling, and it looks like already a one fight here. Vulcan just wrecking him up, just lobs him in, rockets out, and it's just going to be phase one, clean this one up. First take down. Default and Encro get a little bit of a counter kills, but that's just it. Series over. Phase one wins, and in a pretty good fashion. It's Citizens put up a great fight. Let's not make no mistake about that. But phase one definitely looked like the more practiced teams on the composition they wanted to do. And it's going to be interesting to see how Citizens may adapt to that if they get to play against this again.
Certainly, and you know that makes a good point right there. That if you are Citizens, this is not something that you get to see and practice against every day, especially when you consider the caliber of the players that are on phase one. You don't get to run up against compositions like this all the time. Not every team is running stuff like this, and very few are running it to the level that phase one are. So getting practice in before an event like this, or just before running into phase one, is very, very difficult. It can catch you off guard if you are not prepared, and I think that's a little bit of what we saw here tonight from Citizens. You know, they are the first team of the entire tournament to take a map off of phase one. So let's not trivialize that. They did something that no one else has done so far, and that is to be commended. So they definitely have some talent, and now some footage to take to the lab to work on a little bit, especially if they are to see phase one again in the grand finals.
Yeah, and that's it. Phase one makes it to the grand finals. That's the main thing you got to draw from this match, because the finals haven't happened yet for that reason. But what has happened is this match just now, and we have someone here that knows everything about this match because they were in it, and it's actually going to be Razor from phase one being in here. Hello, Razor. How are you doing? Congratulations.
Dude, thanks, man. I'm very excited. I got my this kind of off topic, but I got my Dollar Shave Club package in the other day, Yeah, I'm feeling it
Dude.
right now.
Right.
I'm very happy.
Okay, now I gotta ask the question though. Are you one of those? Are you like a clean shave guy, or do you like trim
Dude,
the
we
beard?
go-
Like, how does it work?
Like we go clean, like baby bottom
You are
clean.
clean.
Like yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean,
I like
that
it.
answers
A
my
man- a
question.
man
You know,
after
like
my own
that's.
heart.
I mean, that's the reason why I'm not able to be good at Overwatch because I have a beard. Like that probably obstructs like something of my skill.
Dude, you can use my Dollar Shave Club code. I don't actually have one, but like, you get clean shaven, like your aerodynamics get like way better. And somehow that'll make you
Fair
better
enough.
in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I have a good razor. Don't get me wrong. Like I do it
Oh.
proper old style, you know, with like the what's it called, the open razor, the single blade, and everything. It's just
Mhm.
it's good. I can do it, but you know, I prefer the beard. It's just my style. But that you
I
know,
know.
enough about beards because I can talk about that all day. I even have a band I listen to. They're called The Beards, and every song they make is about beards. But
That's very interesting.
I want let's
That's
talk
very
about
specific.
Overwatch now. Let's talk about Overwatch because you know you just had a pretty good match against a great match against Citizens, I suppose. Obviously you lost that first map on Hanamura, which you know you showed that there is a strat very well on. What kind of happened there on Hanamura? Because that second point attack seemed a little bit odd.
Yeah. We haven't played a bunch of Hanamura, and I think my ego got a bit too big because I got too many hammer kills on. I got it 4. Those are going in the trophy case, man. I got like the trophy case on my folder on my desktop. They're all going in there, but like, I think we just trolled a little bit too much. I think we were a bit too giddy going in, but like we took it all back. Like it doesn't matter after that.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you did end up winning the series, so you know that's definitely no comment on that one. What we talked about at some point, I think I brought that up. I don't know if Shy Guy, I know someone brought it up. It was saying like, you know, they're running the Ashe, the Torbjorn, the Reaper, Sombra, etc. And then only on Hollywood, that last map, the Pharah comes out. Like, because we've seen a lot of Pharah trying to deal with either goats or bunker setups or whatever. And then you basically didn't play it. Is that like a conscious choice you're making?
Just the Pharah? We just like we want to just go pure spam because we knew they were going to run their bunker stuff and not know how to play it at all. As you can tell, I think their brains are rotten from playing a little bit too much goats, but that's okay. they'll get there when 222 app comes or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it takes time for teams to adjust to the new world order.
Exactly.
Well, I mean that will be slightly problematic for you too, because you were running the 3 DPS every single time, so you'll have to incorporate another tank somehow. I mean, you did it with a Roadhog at some point, but
Yeah,
it's gonna change.
we came up with that on the spot. Like we didn't even go to the theory craft raft for that one.
Yeah.
Well,
I
mean,
would say the Roadhog and Orisa are great combo, so I'm not blaming you. But
Yeah, it's busted.
exactly. You don't need to think too hard about that one for it to work really well, and it did work wonders for you guys there on Anubis. I'm wondering if you kind of got a little more comfortable as the series went along dealing with their Bastion bunker setups. You know, it kind of shut you down a little bit on Hanamura when they were set up on the high ground. But more and more over the series, you seem to have the answers for it.
Yeah. We just started using our brains. Like we just like first map, the switch was off. We just flipped it back on. We're like, okay, these guys aren't even that good at Bastion. Like you could see on Hollywood there, they just instantly died. Like that's not how you play bunker. But like I don't know. It's whatever.
Oh,
man.
you know, we could talk about how to play bunker a lot. I mean, you guys definitely know. Oh, you don't actually even play bunker. That's the beauty of it.
That's
not
the
bunker.
concept.
Yeah.
Orisa does not equal bunker.
Oh yeah,
Man.
it's
Just 'cause you
not
have an Orisa
bunker.
doesn't mean it's
You know,
bunker.
I've been saying this for ages. You know, I come from. I'm a European. I know Clockwork. I've casted Clockwork. I know what they do. It's not a bunker. But you know, I get it. The shield looks like a bunker. So
Yeah,
let's keep it up. I
the Goat
prefer the
One-trick
horse
team's
meta,
crying
even
about
though
it.
she's like a cow. Whatever.
Yeah.
What I do want to know from you, though, Razors, I mean, you do have the Brigade player icon. Is that something that is just because is it like a joke for you, or is it something you've had to play Brig a lot recently, or like how does that work?
I have played Brig a total of 2 times in scrims.
Okay.
It's honestly
That's
it's more
great.
just like it's more like a little gimmick, man. Like they have a flex
Fair
defense
enough.
player. He's gonna go Brig. I just pull out the other Lindholm, man. I go pop it,
Yeah.
and they don't know what to
I
do.
mean, he has the seniority, so he should have the better experience, I suppose. But
Yeah, he's way better.
yeah,
at just like
I
rolling goes.
appreciate it definitely. Obviously, looking forward to the finals that are going to be happening soon. Are you like? There's 3 teams left that you could potentially pick between. Like, who you want to face again? Could be Citizens again, but it could also be Metamorphic or Redacted. Do you have a preference?
I'm pretty sure we already beat Metamorphic last time.
Yeah, you did.
We kind of just demolished Citizens right there, so I don't know. They're probably gonna go back and try and figure out some other stuff, but they're not gonna break it. And then Redacted, I know they're trying to pull out some extra Mimi kind of stuff, but I don't think they can get to the masterclass of Miminess as us.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Redacted is the only one you haven't played out of the 3, so that might be a fun matchup. But they got to get through Metamorphic and Citizens first, so
Yeah,
that is another story. Anyways, I do have to congratulate you not only on the win, but you also got the viewer MVP. So that's another one you can put in the pocket.
It was the 4 hammer kills on Hanamura.
Exactly. The viewers love a good torpedo.
I am the people's champion.
Well, I mean, for this match, for sure you have been. So another congrats there. And you know what? I'm gonna be generous here. I'm gonna give you another opportunity to do like as many shout outs to anyone you want to do. So go ahead, Razor.
Shout out to just the boys. That's all. That's just the boys. Phase 1, Salt, Vulcan, Cal, Nox, Romanov. Everyone always thinks Romanov's a Reaper 1 trick. He's a hit scan player. It's a common misconception.
Well, I mean, Reaper shotguns are hit scan technically, right?
That is true. They don't know.
No.
if you know,
I don't know.
Funny. So they banned Ash after Romanov popped off on Ash,
Mm-hmm.
and then
he popped off on Reaper.
He popped off a Reaper.
They just wanted to shut Romanov down, but they can't.
It can't be done.
No,
It can't be done. Can't contain it.
No. He can't keep getting away with it, but he does. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to the finals. Citizens is looking to be maybe finally dethroned because they got the championship the last time. But yeah, thank you for the interview. Thank you for being a great guy, great player, and give us a good show.
Hey,
once again, congrats on the MVP, on everything. And go out, tweet to everyone. That you're the MVP here in the brawl. That you even got people to sub for the channel. So like that's all on you, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the hammer kills.
It was only Razor. It's only Razor. Like he didn't put a message with it, but I know for a fact that person that gifted the 5 subs was just good. Razor. It's just Razor. That's just the thing. So thank you for that. But I think with that, we're finally going to be able to end this one up, Shy Guy. Great match though.
Yeah, that was so much fun to watch. Phase 1. This was the first time I've actually gotten to see you guys play live, Razor. So I was pumped to see it. And thank you so much for putting on a good show. Thank you so much for everyone joining us here tonight. It's been fun. I have enjoyed this edition of the Watchers Brawl a whole lot. It's been a pleasure casting. This is my last night for at least this month, and then I'll be back for next month's tournament. But thank you so much for joining us, and have a good night, everybody.
See you tomorrow, because I'll be there.